On some Ray Charles shit, bro. No needles.
It's not like I'm selling it.
I just like to get a little taste, Paul.
That's crazy.
I gotta get focused, man. Yo, what is good? Triangle Offense is back in the building. Throwback Thursday. You know who it is, man. You already know what it is. The show cannot be done without your boy Frost. And obviously I can't do it without my peoples, my squad.
What's good? Billy Paycheck, Young Goat Cheese in the building.
Yeah, goat cheese. I like it. I didn't know if you meant like goat cheese or like cold cheese from Cooley High. Oh man. And shout out to our producer, man, Young Q. Man behind the scenes, making a lot of things happen for us, as always.
Yes, sir.
Salute. And we got another Throwback Thursday episode. I know we took a brief break, man, because all the transactions and jazz going down. But as always, we going to hit back into the past, hit a rewind moment, man. We're going to talk about one of the dopest players to ever lace them up, man, and arguably the best small guard that ever played the game, man. And it shouldn't be no doubt, man. We're talking about the answer, number 3, Allen Iverson.
Yes, sir.
Man. And I'm going to go ahead and let you take off, man, because I know that's your man's. I know you rock with him heavier than what I did, pause.
Bro, AI. What can be said, bro? What hasn't been said?
I don't know, bro. I don't know,
talk
man.
about all the levels of greatness, all the dope moments of greatness that it gave us. We can talk about the handles, the clutch, anything. Like, what we gonna do? We could talk about the betrayal.
Man, dog, where do you begin with Allen Iverson, bro? Like, this dude just, and even like off the court, man, just with the trend setting, the style, man, like, the tats, man, the braids, the clothes, man, just, not really, not like changing the up as far as like, being the rapper and the ball player, bro. Like, where do you start with Allen Iverson, bro? Man. I mean, as quiet as it's kept, outside of Sean Kemp and maybe Shaq, he might have the dopest line of Reeboks, man, as far as like athletes win, bro.
Don't do that. Don't even question it, man.
You say don't question it?
Questions, man. What are we talking about?
You got a point.
Super crack. And then the fours, bro.
The A4s by far, man, might have been like the dopest, like one of the dopest, like non-Nike shoe out that ever came out, bro. Like, man.
Crazy, man.
Man, the A4s was dope, bro. Like, no matter what colorway you put them in, bro, the A4s was fire.
Super fire.
Man. No doubt about it, man. But for me, man, like as far as like the impact Allen Iverson had on me, man, because this is one of the guys I actually got a chance to really like watch grow when I was growing up and really like see him from like start to finish. Like, I grew up watching Michael Jordan and, guys that grew up in the 90s, but I didn't get it. I mean, I'll be honest, man, I couldn't really watch what was going on in the 80s, and I saw a good portion of the 90s. I really didn't get a chance to really watch Mike until a second three-peat. That's when I really got a chance to like really get a grasp of what was going on.
Real talk.
And even during that stretch, entering the answer, bro, like what my man Joe Budden say. And when we talk about the young guys, all they can mention is when every time you mention MJ with the young guys, all they can mention is when Iverson crossed them.
It's crazy, bro.
Like, man.
Iconic,
bro. Like,
iconic. That's probably the best word to sum up Allen Iverson, bro. He just changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's a beast.
No doubt about it, bro. Like, squad is kept, man. We might be still getting trash games from EA Sports as far as NBA Live goes or what for Allen Iverson, bro.
Bro, real talk.
There will be no 2K.
Everybody switched to 2K.
Bro, it didn't matter what platform you was on. You was going to rock with the Allen Iverson game.
Yes, sir.
And then you pick up, you're like, man, this actually is dope, man. It's a little bit more realistic than 2K.
Super dope graphics on that Dreamcast, boy.
God, I mean, like, I think that's what did it, bro, is that we never, like, saw 2K and like with whack graphics. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was always like cutting edges, so they were always like ahead of wherever Live was at on their previous platforms, man. Like, and I think, yeah, you got to tribute out to Allen Iverson, man. Took a gamble on Sega, even though Sega went down, but 2K Sports survived, and they got to the other platforms and started making their bread. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
gotta give credit to one of the goats, man.
Let's go back to that Joe Button bar, man, when he crossed Jordan and made everybody pay attention to who he was.
Mm-hmm. I
Bro,
mean, for the
not
guy that
once.
owns the phrase "you reach it, I teach,"
Dog.
who stole the cookies from the cookie jar?
Bro. He crossed the
Man,
hell out of Jordan, bro.
I
Two
mean,
times.
2 times, bro, and he had your boy. The hand caught the cookie jar, bro. Like the hands can't hit what the eyes can't see. It's like, man, just that whole sequence, bro. And then it's one thing to cross somebody, man, get them stumbling and all that, but hey, I really like with real talk, bro. He was like really became like the king of the ankle breakers, bro. Just making cats look foolish and not being able to like really go like Jordan teed off on cats, Kobe teed off on cats, but Iverson was making people look foolish trying to guard him, bro.
Exactly. Out
I'm
of the
talking
cross, bro.
out of the
Two
crossover, bro.
crosses, and he still made that shot on Jordan. Like, come on, man.
Jeez. And I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can talk that business about him carrying, bro. I don't care what nobody say, bro. Them still was some lethal crossovers, bro.
He wasn't carrying, is what I'ma say.
I feel it, man. I can respect that all day, bro. I know there were some moments where he carried, but that right there in that moment, heck no. There's no question, bro. Mike got his hands caught the cookie jar. And you reach it, I teach, man. He had to take his own medicine.
Real talk, man. Then, man, back then he was catching oops and dunking on people. Like, bro, it's craziness. Pure craziness.
Wild stuff, bro. And that's another thing, bro. Like for him to be that size, bro, just like again, he's one of those like real talk. Like I know he'll never get the credit he deserves for this, man. But you have to kind of put him in that same category as far as like being like a freak athlete, bro. Like a LeBron or Kevin Garnett or any of these like hyper athletic guys we've seen like back then, bro. Like to be 6 feet and be able to fly like that, dog.
Be able to fly like that, be able to have that endurance, bro. To like his game wasn't only outside shots; he was driving and he didn't care.
Yeah, driving, finishing over cats, man.
Bro,
layup
all that
game.
contact. He played with mad injuries. Like that's super athleticism, bro.
Yeah, man, super athleticism, bro. Like I can't stress enough, man. Like when you talk about like you can say what you want about all the negative stuff, man, like the practice and all that, and you just have to respect like this dude didn't cheat you when he was on the court, bro. Like he played his game and he was gonna play his game, bro. And for him to like when you really think about it, he was really deficient in a lot of areas. He wasn't big enough to guard like guys at his same position. He wasn't even big enough really to guard majority of the point guards that were in the league at that point. You know what I mean? But he made up for it in other ways, whether it was, all ball help defense, or whatever the case was. Like this dude was a king of like the backside. Yeah, king of the backside steals and intercepting passes, bro. Like,
bro, beast.
Like,
was about to say, you speaking about the practice thing, man. Just picture if he had a team and a coach and an organization behind him like James Harden had with the Rockets, like in his past era we just saw. Just think of how different the game, like he would have been for the game in that scenario, where if he wasn't always clashing with his head coach. Like, that's crazy. You're talking about practice, bro, and you going to the media to talk about practice like I'm not cooking on the court, like I'm not an MVP, bro. Like, chill the fuck out, dog.
Yeah, man.
Know. That's my perspective.
Nah, I mean, I totally get it, dog. Like, and I just hate it. Kind of goes back to that point that I was making, like when, LeBron got so much flack about, switching franchises up and creating super teams and all this other stuff, bro. But you got to get back to like the core of it, we saw one of the greatest dynasties ever, bro, in the history of sports get disassembled by the same guys we call out when when they're slumlords as far as like just owning teams and in it for the money and not for like providing like the proper product to the fans. You know what I'm saying? Like the only people that could stop the '90s Bulls was the front office. It wasn't even like nobody that dethroned them, bro. Like they had beef with a head coach
Jerry Krause.
Jerry Krause, bro. I mean, God rest his soul. I mean, Jerry did his thing, but just the fact that you can't make that work with Phil Jackson, my guy, and Phil made it very clear that he was a very key piece of that puzzle. I don't know if like Mike would have been Mike without Phil Jackson. Scotty would have been Scotty without Phil Jackson. I don't know that. You know what I mean? They might have still been great individual talents, but to being able to be not only do it once, but to three-peat twice, bro. Then he goes and does it again with Los Angeles. You know, and in my opinion, two drastically different egos, bro.
Yes, sir.
And a team, when you really think about it, that was really devoid of like talent around their two stars, bro. Like they had some pieces, but they ain't had the pieces that the Bulls had in the '90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't have the front office personnel that the Bulls had in the '90s. So imagine you put Allen Iverson in a system like that, man. And you mean tell me he doesn't come away with multiple rings? And we might be having a different like conversation about this GOAT talk? Please.
You mean to tell me it would be hard to get him to come to practice if he if he knew he did have to game plan to just what was it to account for Shaq's game or any like real team? Not saying, not trying to disrespect any player that's ever played in the league. That's an accomplishment in itself, but that Philadelphia team was crazy. And it's like, bro, you talking to me about practice, man. I'm the whole offense, bro. Like, I don't know, man. That's my perspective. I just take his side in that, even though he could have been a player that went to practice sometime.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, bro, like they did nothing, in my opinion. Like they put good defenders around him, bro. But the fact that those teams were that devoid of talent on offense is embarrassing. Let's just be honest and call it for what it is, bro. You're relying on an Eric Snow to be your next best offensive player. Aaron McKee, Matt Geiger, Matt Bullard, Tom McCulloch. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Theo Ratliff, Samuel Dallenberg. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Mutombo, he always had a nice shot blocking center at his disposal, but man, y'all couldn't get him no offensive help.
Bro.
Like, I'm going to break this down to you, bro. The second best offensive guys he had with him during that tenure in Philly are washed up Tony Kukoc for one season. Larry Hughes, who in my opinion, they threw in the towel too quick on, too fast.
Yeah.
Jerry Stackhouse, another guy that they didn't quite, stay patient with and make it work. Even though I know Stackhouse really didn't want to play in the shadow of Iverson, but you still got to make that work, man, with those kind of talents.
Stack kind of falls in that same category of Lamar, Aldridge, and
Dame Lillard.
Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, Carlos Boozer. You have guys that just, they didn't want to take the back seat. And I understand. Yeah. I get it. But at the same time, man, are you in it for self-accolation and accolades, or are you trying to win? You know what I mean? Because the thing is, man, we be talking about Stackhouse much differently if he had a ring or two on his resume. Right now, Stack is an afterthought. We don't talk about him. It's like we don't talk about Carlos Boozer these days. And as far as I'm concerned, LaMarcus Aldridge is going to be an afterthought when his career's over and done with. You know what I mean? I don't even know if we can even say he had a Hall of Fame career at this point. But
that's sad to think about too. From just like when we really, it's like, you know what I mean? Like those Brandon Roy days. Like, man, he was a monster,
bro,
unstoppable.
Right, and it wasn't ego for him. It's the fact that his body betrayed him. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you got his other guys.
Though. He could have stayed there with Dame, and they would be in a lot different. You know what I mean? A lot different picture.
Much different picture, bro. But even look at that, bro. Like AI didn't even have the kind of talent that Portland was able to field, even though they were falling on their face with injuries and all that. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't even get that kind of help in Philly, bro. And when the Lakers were steamrolling everybody and their mama in that 2001 playoffs, man, there's one